Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's Brooke. So I was guided to jump on here real quick and just kind of give you guys an update to what's been going on. Yesterday I decided to go on a spiritual quest after being in David's class on Tuesday and George Washington showing up. What's funny is he asked if anybody worked with anybody that everybody would know, and I said in the comment section that I work closely with George Washington. I'm very connected with George Washington because of my birthday. So he later says that George Washington is there, and nobody guessed it. What's funny is I said it before he even brought it up. Anyway, so after that was triggered in me, I started really putting together some things about where I'm at and trying to really understand the big picture, right? So to me, astrology, and he explained it best. Astrology, you can see the past, present, future and merge them into one. And I get that. It's just a different tool to use for confirmation of what you're feeling and what you know. So I decided I need to understand the connection here. I need to understand what we're possibly missing, okay? And looking at the big picture, what are we missing? So on my journey yesterday, I decided to go to Hell Springs Inn, and they have 3 presidential rooms that are named after the presidents that stayed there. Now, what's cool about the inn is, well, it's not really cool, but a little tidbit of history. It was a hospital for the Confederate and the Union armies during the Civil War. Now, they have tunnels under there. You can actually go on a ghost tour. I'm going to sign up and see if they're still offering that, because that's something I really want to see. And so there's a lot of energy. It's really humid today. I'm sweating. There's a lot of energy there. So I was really guided yesterday to go see which presidential rooms were open. And what was interesting is President Jackson's room was open and President Polk's room was open. There was 2 other rooms that were open. One in which his family named the inn. So Mr. Hill, his room was open. He was actually in World War II. He flew fighter jets. And then Mary and Joseph Rogers, their room was open as well. Which, as we're getting ready to leave, my aunt starts screaming at me, and she's like, "Brooke, there's a picture of George Washington." I was like, okay, there's George, right on track. So I start researching this. The 7th and the 11th president's rooms was open. Interesting, right? Start researching more about what Washington did in connection to the land here. What was funny is Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, Mary and Joseph, are buried with David Crockett's grandparents, okay? So, if we go back in history, and we're using history as a guide, there's one part that we're missing, and it's the Indians. Everywhere I went yesterday on this quest, I discovered more injustices on the Indians. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. If we're using astrology to see what's going on, why are we not looking at the history of the indigenous people? And, you know, that's one thing I tried to point David in that direction when I met him in Utah and told him about Davy Crockett's grandparents. Trying to trigger a response of, okay, well, maybe I should look at that too. I don't believe he got the message. So, they really guided me to come down here and just share. Anybody that's looking at the astrology, we're missing a big piece of the puzzle. And that big piece of the puzzle has to do with the indigenous people. That's the part that astrologers are not looking at. Okay? You know, the way my guides explained it to me, like the magic, the shaman energy, that's where it comes from. That's the reason why this land is so sacred. I mean, in 1777 is when they started trying to take over the land here. And we had our Declaration of Independence in 1776. Like, this shit doesn't add up. You know what I mean? Hold on. We're claiming to be a free nation while we're robbing and stealing from the indigenous people. And that was really something that I was really trying to push David to look at when I brought this up when I met him in Utah. You know, because everything has meaning, everything has purpose, right? So, pretty sure he's not checked into it. I don't know. Maybe he will. Who knows? But George Washington, discovered this yesterday. George Washington, okay, our first president, good old George. He named the governor in Knoxville over that new territory, okay, taking over land, taking it from the indigenous people, appointed him, it was like $1884, I think is when it was. 1893. So 1894 is when a peace treaty was finally signed with the chief. The chief's wife was actually killed in the Indians trying to defend their land, and they fought for another year, finally signed a peace treaty amongst all the tribes in the areas. So we really need to be going back and incorporating what happened to the indigenous people, especially if we're going to be making predictions about where this nation is going. You know, I'm very connected to it. My Pluto is 26 degrees in Libra in the 4th house. My Venus is 26 degrees on my descendant in Capricorn. So Pluto is retrograding over my descendant, squaring my natal Pluto in my IC. Okay. Saturn is about to walk right over my Mercury in Aquarius at 7 degrees. And Jupiter is about to roll over my moon in Aquarius at 22 degrees. So there's a lot of things that's being exposed and brought to light with these transits. And you know, I'm taking the information one day at a time. I'm taking what I'm given one day at a time. And I'm really trying to put it all together to come out here and share with you what I'm piecing together, because it's all connected. And I want to challenge any astrologer out there, like, if we're going to base astrology off of history, it needs to be based off all of it, right? So these times were predicted, and they're here. And I see you guys, I feel you guys, I love you guys. I am clearing, I am putting so much love that I can into this sacred space, and sharing what I discover along the way. So y'all take care, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay? Bye.